Hey guys, and welcome back to Steampunks. My name is Jess McDonald.
And I'm Edmund Tran.
And we did tell you last week that we were going to spend today's episode of GameSpot's PC Focus show talking about the most disappointing games of 2018. But we did decide we probably don't need another avenue to tell you that Fallout wasn't the best.
I don't want to spend any more time on Fallout. It is what it is. That's fine. Let's move on. And I don't think I played that many other games this year that really disappointed me. There are a few smaller ones here and there, but like nothing that I really need to get my vent.
That's right.
Vent or anything like that.
So
let's not do that. No. Let's not be negative. Let's be positive.
But what we did get to talking about was games that we're excited about that are coming out next year, especially in particular those coming to PC. So let's get going on talking about some of those. I'm going to start off with a way smaller game that people probably haven't heard of called Dragon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Norwegian. So Dragon is the next game from Red Thread Games, who are responsible for The Longest Journey and Dreamfall games. And it's a first-person adventure set in 1920s Norway. So he plays this American Edward who's ventured off to Norway with his ward Lissy, a younger woman, and he's basically looking for his sister who's gone missing. It sounds like it's being set up to be a bit like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter or What Remains of Edith Finch. It's that kind of sort of pseudo-horror mystery, but leaning more on the mystery side. So I feel like there's got to be a dragon.
It's a dragon, right?
It's got to be, right? Well, I mean, another part of this is it's psychological. So it plays on both psychological mystery elements.
So it's an imaginary dragon.
It might be. Actually, it might be. And it's also brings out the theme of the unreliable narrator, which is one of my favorite things that games play with in narrative. So I think that could be really cool.
Cool.
You've brought your ward with you, so you're actually going to be chatting with someone the whole time, which is a bit of a different take on the first-person adventure. And Red Thread have just proved to be so good at storytelling. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with this. The studio itself is 12 people. They're based in Norway themselves. It looks really gorgeous. There's only a teaser trailer out now. So the game is slated for 2019, although given how long it took Dreamfall chapters to come out, fingers crossed that will actually be the date. But yeah, it looks really cool, and I'm excited for when it does come.
Okay, I wasn't going to do this one first, but now it kind of seems like a natural segue.
Yeah.
So one of the games I'm really looking forward to in 2019 is In the Valley of Gods, which is being developed by Campo Santo, who are the guys who did Firewatch, and they recently got acquired by Valve, so good for them. I'm really looking forward to this because you mentioned that in Dragon you have a war that someone who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And in Valley of Gods you are roaming around and exploring a Egyptian ruin in the 1920s.
As well.
In the 1920s as well.
There you go.
And yeah, in Firewatch, you obviously had a connection with a voice on a radio, and this is the first time they are introducing a character model. That team is really great at telling stories. Like, they are obviously, two of the co-founders were the directors of the original season of The Walking Dead, which was also a game where you kind of had a narrator or a protagonist who had done stuff that you weren't really sure of, and you kind of had to work that out and kind of adjust your sort of interactions to sort of cater for that, I guess. And that's kind of the same here. And kind of the same with Firewatch too. In Firewatch, Henry, you weren't really sure about what his past life was.
Yeah.
And in this one, you and your partner Zora, I believe her name is, going together on one last big adventure. But apparently you have beef between you, and that whole dynamic of sort of a strained relationship is really interesting. And I'm really keen to see how they pull off this story and sort of see how they change things up, because I don't think this team is one to just rehash stuff that they've done before. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what sort of the filmmaking mechanic that we've kind of seen a bit of has to do with the adventure, and yeah, just generally how they go about telling the story with all these sort of new things that they didn't use in Firewatch.
Yeah. Sometime
in 2019, not sure whether that has a proper date yet. But maybe it could be 2020. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it regardless if it does come in 2019.
So now for something completely different and a game that is not set in the 1920s.
No adventures.
No adventures.
I want guns.
Well, yeah, if you want guns. Yeah, the other game I picked is something completely different, Division 2. I weirdly loved the first one, which I didn't expect.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because all I do on this show is complain about how much I hate playing games with other people.
Yeah.
And I find games like this tedious, but I absolutely loved the world the Division 1 built. I liked all the collectibles, and I really enjoyed how easy it was to matchmake into raids and matchmake into missions when I didn't have friends online to play with. I just had a really good time with it, and I'm so excited for the second one. I like that it's following this trend we're seeing of a bunch of games that are moving away from the desolate concrete jungle into trying to do something a little dynamic and a little more interesting. I think Washington, D.C. looks like a really cool setting. You know, I'm sort of expecting more of the same, but I do appreciate that I think Ubisoft really became aware of the mistakes they made with the first game, particularly with the end game content.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I was playing with you at the time. The main reason I stopped playing that game is that the first huge thing they brought out once you finished the game was just a, horde. It was just a wave mode.
Yeah.
Like, just a set of waves. And after all of the, compelling story content up to that point, like the little side things you could do, stuff that actually felt engaging. It was such a shame to just be thrown into a warehouse and just have endless dudes thrown at you.
Yeah, I really wonder if I would have kept going with that game if I didn't hit a massive roadblock with DLC 1.
Yeah, and the main shame is apparently that game vastly improved with the updates that came after that, but I didn't happen to step back in. So I'm excited for this new opportunity to get into the Division world again. I just think it's so much fun. I love co-op campaigns. Like whenever there's a chance to do a co-op campaign, even if it is like shooting bullet sponge enemies, I just had a load of fun with this game. And it's coming out in March, so we actually know this one's coming. And there's going to be a beta before then, so that'll be really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one too.
I can't wait.
Agents of the Division are the only ones standing against it.
But how do you save a nation when its enemies come from within?
Now, obviously, The Division is a multi-platform title, and there are heaps of multi-platform games I'm really looking forward to next year. There's like Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil Remake 2, Ace Combat. You've got your Psychonauts 2, which I'm really keen for. But I thought I'd make my second pick a PC game, a PC's PC game.
Exclusive.
It's exclusive PC game for now, and this one is called Phoenix Point, which, if you're not familiar with it, it is a tactical strategy game. Very much in the vein of XCOM, but it's being designed by the guy who originally created XCOM, Julian Gollop. So this is kind of his return to the genre he created, as he puts it in his trailers and stuff. The whole gist of this thing has the slight parallels to XCOM. So the game takes place on Earth, and there's an invading alien force. The aliens coming from the sea, it's coming from within. It's one of those games where aliens have really taken over the Earth, and it have fractured humanity, and it's up to you as a faction leader to sort of fight back the opposing forces as well as negotiate with the other human factions. So there's a big focus on the tactical strategy, which looks a lot like the XCOM reboot that Firaxis did, which is not a bad thing. It's like a really great gold standard to sort of compare yourself to. It adds a whole lot into the world strategy layer, which involves sort of moving your bases around, like negotiating with other factions, like knowing where your front lines are and like how to push back, and sort of knowing which places to go to, like making those compromises of like, do I fight back here, do I fight back here, and which countries do I help protect and which countries do I let go. There's a bit more to the tactical layer too. So the alien forces that come from the sea are like Lovecraftian crustaceans, and they kind of evolve to your tactics. So they're saying that if you are primarily attacking from long range with snipers and stuff, they will just evolve over the course of the game to sort of block off that strategy to you. So you'll need to change it up quite frequently from the sounds of things. And there was also a sort of that style body targeting system that's been added to the tactical layer, and also things like vehicles. The stages themselves look pretty good. There are quite a few sort of playthroughs that you can see right now, and the game is actually in early access if you want to sort of back it at a high tier. Like it's got a sort of like slacker backer thing. If you like sort of sci-fi lore, like they've added a lot of that in, and there are like little novellas that you can just download and read. Apparently the full release is due around June next year. So yeah, Phoenix Point.
Do let us know down in that comment box what games you are looking forward to next year, especially on PC. But we did want to take this time to also thank you for your comments on last week's video, where we talked about our favorite PC games of the last year. On YouTube, we got a comment from Himeng Chorhan, who said, Return to the Obra Dinn is a game of the year. This is the kind of game I want to see more of getting made. Lucas Pope is a genius. Adding other games I'd add are Deltarune Demo, Pathfinder Kingmaker, Bard's Tale 4, Subnautica, Parkitect, and probably a few more that I'm forgetting. I just wanted to add this one because, firstly, everyone was saying Subnautica is amazing this year.
Yeah, that was like in January. That was the very beginning of this year. And it's just coming out on consoles now, but yeah, it's been a PC game for a while.
Yeah, but I reckon, like, good to give these games a shout out, and especially Deltarune, which I've heard is amazing. That's Toby Fox's new game, the guy who made Undertale. Apparently it's really great, so if you were into Undertale, there's another one to sink your teeth into that you will probably enjoy. Also, apparently my dad's really loving Bard's Tale 4, so there you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also on YouTube, Paradox Acres says, anyone played Mutiny Zero yet? It looks pretty good. I have played this one. It's another tactical strategy game in the vein of XCOM, only this one has like a really huge twist wherein it's all about stealth. And it's also has this really cool thing where you actually explore the map in real time. So you move your characters around the map, you move your squad around the map, you can split them up, and you set up ambushes. It's not so much about head-to-head combat, because you will almost always lose a head-to-head combat scenario.
Right.
So it's all about moving around in real time, sneaking when patrols get near, surveying the map, and like setting everyone up in sort of separate ambush spots, and then hitting go, and then like taking down as many individual targets silently as you can before you get into a main sort of combat thing. It's really, really good. It's got this really great post-apocalyptic atmosphere, and best of all, you get to play as a bunch of animals.
Yes.
That's kind of like the best thing about it. The duck is called Dux.
Sick.
The pig is called Borman, I think. Yeah, it's a really interesting take on tactical strategy games, and it made me kind of have to rewire my brain to like play it well, you know? Like I got owned in the first few battles because I was like, I'm just gonna go guns blazing, I'm really good at tactical strategy games, and it's like, no, you gotta plan, you gotta ambush, you gotta use stealth. So yes, Mutiny Zero is sick.
Thank you for all your comments and suggestions of great games over the last year, and do let us know what you're looking forward to, and we'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.